I have amazing news. There's a very limited amount of time to consolidate your federal student loans and keep your loan history. And I know that this sounds small, but because of bureaucratic math, this is literally wiping out months and years of payments for people and getting millions of others on payment plans as low as $0 a month with no interest accruing. I know this sounds like I'm trying to sell you spray on hair or that you won a cruise contest that you never even entered, but this is true. This is not a drill, and you have until June 30th to take advantage of this opportunity. If any of the following situations apply to you, then watch this whole video. 1, if you are going for public service loan forgiveness or IDR forgiveness, that's the one where you get forgiveness for being on an income-driven repayment plan, and you have loans with different amounts of time in repayment. Like one of your loans has 60 months in repayment, another loan has 100 months in repayment. 2, if you have any FFEL loans. If you went to school before 2010, this probably means you. Or if you have Perkins loans or HEAL loans. 3, if you want to get on the SAVE repayment plan, but because of the type of loan you have, it won't let you. 4, if you have direct loans with different amounts of months in repayment. Basically, the only people this doesn't apply to are student loan borrowers who took out all direct loans and they all have the exact same payment history. And hey, if this video doesn't apply to you, it doesn't mean you shouldn't send it to a friend who is struggling with their student loans because it might apply to them. If one of those situations applied to you, watch this video through to the end because there might be some really important good reasons for you to consolidate by June 30th, but it might also not be a good idea for you too. It's a double-edged sword, and I want you to be fully informed before you make any moves with your student loans. In this video, I'm going to do a deep dive of what's going on, how it applies to you, who should consider consolidation, qualifications, because there are a million different variables, potential drawbacks, and how to consolidate your student loans all in 15 minutes or whatever this ends up being. Okay, although this feels complicated, don't worry about it, you guys. I got you. You have me, Kate, your money librarian, here to explain it to you in simple terms. Please boop that like button so more people can find this, and if you want to feed my book addiction, feel free to use that thanks button. FYI, this is informational and educational. It's an overview. Call the Department of Education, talk to them about your loans before you make any moves with your money. Here's what's going on and how it applies to you and your student loans. By the normal rules, which are a weird catch-22, in order to qualify for lower monthly payments or forgiveness, people need to consolidate their loans to a different type of federal student loan. But by consolidating, normally that means you lose your entire payment history, so you have to restart the student loan clock, and it's just not worth it for most people. If you've already been paying for 15 years, it is not worth it for them to restart that clock again. So they just keep the higher payments or pay off their loans entirely. However, the normal rules are out of town until June 30th. If you consolidate before June 30th, okay, you keep your payment history, but the bonkers thing about this is that they will actually take the longest repayment history and apply it to your new loan. There are a lot of situations that could benefit, which I'm going to go through in a minute. Let's say you started your undergraduate degree 18 years ago. Something happened. You just finished 3 years ago, and now you consolidate all those loans before June 30th. The new consolidated loan would show 18 years of payments. You are then eligible for SAVE forgiveness in 2 years so that the loans poof disappear like Bruce Wayne at a gala event when he sees that bat signal. And compare that to what normally happens. What will happen after June 30th is that they will use a weighted average. And if they use that weighted average, then it's more like 8 to 15 years before that person gets forgiveness. You see why this is so important now? This sounds too good to be true. I'm trying to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge or something. So I see why you might want some background here to really understand why this is happening and why you need to do it before June 30th. I get that. That is some good skepticism you have there. Gold star. This is because of the IDR recount that is going on right now. Due to a lot of student loan servicers not fulfilling the contract for decades, mishandling accounts, losing payment histories, the government has to manually go through each payment for all 44 million borrowers who have student loans to see who paid, when, and how much. Because this is a monumental task, and to right previous wrongs by the student loan servicers, they're using different rules than normal. The Department of Education is allowing all kinds of loan types, deferment periods, forbearance periods, non-payments to count towards forgiveness now. If you have direct loans or FFEL loans held by the Department of Education, you are already a part of this recount, but you may still need to consolidate in order to get the massive benefits here. If you don't have direct federal student loans, if you have an FFEL loan held by a commercial lender, you have to consolidate just to get in on this recount. I would strongly, strongly recommend you be thinking about consolidating. Hopefully it makes a bit more sense now. It doesn't sound like I'm trying to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. But now that you have a general understanding of what's going on, the details are key, and this isn't right for everybody. It could actually bite you in the tuchus. So before we put your money on the line here, let's make sure we are on the same page with what consolidation actually is. Consolidating means you take some or all of your federal student loans, you put them all together to make one shiny new loan with the Department of Education. Consolidation literally changes the rules by which you are paying your loans. Hopefully for the better, but let's be sure before signing on that dotted line. Consolidating will change your interest rate. It will change your monthly payment. I've included some great links below that will explain consolidation more. Check them out in the description. As I mentioned, if you consolidate before June 30th, they will use your longest payment history and apply it to the new loan. Here are the situations where consolidating your student loans could take years off your payments or allow you to get in on a better payment plan. First off, if you are going for forgiveness, IDR forgiveness, PSLF, and you have loans with different amounts of qualifying months in repayment, like you've been paying one loan for 60 months, one loan for 100 months, probably really consider consolidating. This is because with IDR forgiveness or public service loan forgiveness, you can get forgiveness anywhere from 10 years in PSLF, and then on all the IDR plans, you get forgiveness in 20 or 25 years, usually 20 years for undergraduate, 25 years for graduate degrees. If you have loans with different numbers of qualifying months, like Kyle here who contacted me on my other video about this, you can have the longer payment count applied to your new consolidated loan. Kyle said he had 115 PSLF months for his undergraduate loans and 70 PSLF months for his graduate school loans. Of course, in my reply, I did say contact the Department of Ed before making any moves. But based on the current rules, if he consolidated his grad and undergrad loans before June 30th, the new loan would have 115 PSLF qualifying months. So he could take 4 years off of his grad school loans, getting them forgiven via PSLF in just 5 months after consolidating, assuming he met all the other PSLF criteria. Same thing with IDR forgiveness. As I mentioned before, if you started your undergraduate degree 18 years ago, but only finished it 3 years ago, and you consolidated all those loans together, well, now you only have 2 years until you get IDR forgiveness for undergraduate loans in 20 years, because all of those are having the whole 18 years applied to the new loan. Another crucial situation to consolidate is if you have any FFEL loans. So you would have gone to school before 2010, because those were the kind of student loans that they gave out before 2010. Or if you have Perkins loans or HEAL loans, like you want to look into this very much. This is seriously a godsend for a lot of people. None of those types of loans qualify for SAVE. In my opinion, the best of the income-driven repayment plans. By consolidating these into direct loans, you have more repayment options, potentially dropping your monthly payment to 0 without it actually accruing any interest. So it's not going to balloon like student loans have in the past. And by consolidating before June 30th, you don't lose any of your payment history. So you'll still get that IDR forgiveness anywhere from 10 to 25 years of when you originally started repaying those loans. If you consolidate on July 1st, you are restarting that clock, meaning another 10 to 25 years of repayments. I particularly love this bit. This is just a great time to get your FFEL loans away from commercial lenders since, well, I mean, okay, they did lose millions of people's histories. So they've shown themselves to be pretty inept, but also if they put you in periods of deferment or forbearance when they shouldn't have, which they did to millions of people, by consolidating your FFEL loans, getting them away from commercial lenders, putting them to the Department of Education, you are now a part of this IDR recount I told you about. You could get those months or years that previously didn't count towards forgiveness to now qualify for forgiveness. You can find out who holds your loans at studentaid.gov. If you're trying to get public service loan forgiveness, None of your payments qualify for PSLF unless they are direct loans. So FFEL, Perkins, HEAL loans, none of those are direct loans. If you consolidate before June 30th, your old payments to the FFEL loan will qualify for PSLF. Consolidate July 1st, you're starting from scratch. The third situation to consider consolidating is if you are looking to reduce your monthly student loan payment and you currently don't have access to the Save repayment plan because of the type of loan you have. If you don't have direct loans by consolidating before June 30th, this keeps all your old payment history, but it turns your old loans, which are not direct loans, into a direct consolidation loan, which is eligible for Save, my favorite of the IDR repayment plans. The only loans this doesn't work for are Parent Plus loans. I mean, basically, like any type of parent student loan is just riddled with issues. You'll need to do the double consolidation loophole, as that takes 4 months at best. You'll probably lose your payment history. Watch my other video on that for more information, but it might still be a really good way for you to go. The last group of people who should seriously consider consolidating their student loans, oh my God, try and say that 5 times fast. If you have direct loans with different amount of months in repayment, by consolidating your multiple direct loans together to have the longest payment period applied to the new loan, if you end up with any kind of eligible forgiveness and no one knows what the future holds, the loans with the shorter repayment history will get forgiveness way sooner. So here's what I mean. Let's say you went to a year of undergrad in 2011, took 3 years off, then finished school in 2018. Right now in 2024, you'd have about 9 years of payments for that first year and 6 for when you went back to school. You have different months in repayments for those loans. If you consolidate now, they'll take all your loans, make one shiny new direct consolidation loan out of them, and show you that you have been paying for 9 years on this loan. This may or may not help you out, but chances are it won't do you any wrong, especially if you're not a high-income household. When not to consolidate, and this is by no means comprehensive, this is not right for everyone. It changes a lot about your loans. Speak with someone at the Department of Education to find out if it's right for you before making any moves. If you would lose benefits that you are depending on that you get with your loans, do not consolidate. Like if you have Perkins loans and you planned on getting Perkins loans cancellation, consolidating your loans means that you don't have Perkins loans anymore. So you don't get Perkins loans cancellation, which you can get in 5 years of repaying your student loans. Consolidating could create a much higher monthly cost. During the consolidation process, it will tell you what your new interest rate will be, what the payments would be, so you'll know beforehand, but this is a possibility. If you have Parent Plus loans, as well as your own student loans from when you went to school, beware consolidating these all together, as everything will then be subject to the Parent Plus rules, which are very restrictive. You can still consolidate, just don't include the Parent Plus loans with the other types of loans, like quarantine them. Do not let them in with the other loans, unless you're doing the double consolidation loophole, and that's a whole nother thing. Parent Plus loans can really mess everything up. And frankly, we don't know what the future holds, so there could be a new rule or new law that will make you regret consolidating. Do what's best for you based on the information you have right now. Okay, if you're starting to think consolidation might be right for you, here are your next steps. First off, be sure you know what kind of loans you have and who holds them. You log on to studentaid.gov, go to the loan breakdown section, select view loans to see a list of the loans you've received. 2, you're going to weigh the pros and cons and know why you're doing this. Are you consolidating so that you can get your loans onto the Save plan? Are you looking to have the longest payment period applied to all your loans? Once you know why you're doing this, you will 3, call the Department of Education. Tell them why you are considering consolidating and ask them about what you will gain, what you will lose. Make sure that you really will get whatever it is you're looking for. Ask them all the questions. Ask them about your monthly payment, the interest rate. Since they have access to your loan history, they will be able to help you out a lot more than me. But you are welcome to ask questions in the comments. Just know most likely my answer is going to be call the Department of Education. And 4, if you do decide that consolidation is right for you, go to studentaid.gov, fill in the consolidation paperwork. They will let you know the new interest rate. You will choose a payment plan at that time. It should take about half an hour. Link is in the description. As I don't want anyone to have a heart attack. After you consolidate, your payment history is going to reset to 0. That happens to everyone. Don't worry, trust the process, give it time. It should update within a few months, but they believe at latest by the end of the year, that's 2024. The Department of Education is overloaded, so don't wait until June 29th to get this done. Really, get it done as soon as possible. Because if you consolidate after June 30th, if you have FFEL or Perkins loans, you can't get credit for past periods of payment for, oh my God, again, say that 5 times fast, towards forgiveness for PSLF or IDR forgiveness. You will reset the clock, lose all those years. If you have loans with different counts, you'll also get a weighted average of the underlying loan count, not the longest payment history, which is still fine, but it's not super cool. This is such an important due date. If you know somebody who is paying student loans right now, please do share this video with them. I do not want anybody else missing out on this opportunity. FYI, this is an update to my other video for when the due date was April 30th. If you have any questions, feel free to ask here in the comments. You can also look through the comments of my other video. I'll link to it in the description. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up so more people can find it. Cheers, guys.